Hello, good evening. How are my vocabulary enthusiasts? So once again, I'm here with you for the continuation session of liars and lying. Remember the last session of liars and lying, we had taken up some important words which were related to the frequency, to the intensity of the people who lie. Remember what were those words? Can you recall? Glib, inveterate, then your one was related to notoriety, right? Notorious liar. Then one was related to the smooth talker, that is glib, congenital, consummate. We had done so many. And then egregious. So we'll take this further today. And you will agree with me that this is not just a method, this is not just a process of learning only about liars and lying. It is way beyond. It is actually creating a base for many more words. So today also in this session, we'll be taking up some root words and then we'll also take up some prefixes and suffixes, and you will see to your amazement, to your amusement, that your grip on vocabulary is increasing day by day. And do let me know about your experiences. So right away we'll start with the session. And you already know that all these sessions have been taken from Word Power Made Easy, a very interesting, enlightening book by Mr. Norman Lewis. And we have presented all these topics to you in a palatable form. आपको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से ये समझ में आएंगे. और क्या आपने अगर मेरा पुराना वीडियो नहीं देखा तो डू चेक आउट. सारी प्लेलिस्ट आपको मिलेगी. और सुपर गैस टॉप रैंकर्स के दूसरी फैकल्टीज के द्वारा भी इस तरीके के वीडियोस बनाए गए हैं. सो स्टे ट्यून्ड. So let us move on with today's video, today's session. In this session, we'll be talking about four major roots. And let us see how they function, how they work. If you know about them, do put your comment in the comment box. The first word is Chronos. That means time. Chronos means time. So you might have heard about the words synchronize, chronometer, chronic, anachronism, chronological. Now starting with chronic. Chronic, the condition, the situation which occurs again and again. You might have heard about chronic patients, about chronic smokers. So the condition which keeps on repeating itself, frequently occurring condition, is called chronic. And if you remember, we had done this type of liar in the previous session. Chronic liars. No matter what, they are counseled, but they again come back to the same condition. They keep on lying shamelessly. Then comes chronological. Chronological is related to chronology, the sequence of events which happen in time. You must have done this in the lower classes also. In your history, you must have done, especially when you talk about events which are happening in the chronology of events, you have to remember the years, what happened in which year. Then comes your anachronism. Now, anachronism, ana is a prefix which talks about the negative or absence of. Anachronism. Anachronism means something which is not belonging to the contemporary time, something coming from some other time. For example, if in these days of multi-speciality hospitals, you find a family doctor, taking his bag of medicines and entering into a home, that is quite an anachronism. You don't find such things happening now. Okay, then coming to one more example, you must have seen these biopic movies, ये जो पीरियड मूवीज बनती हैं जिसमें किसी प्रॉपर हिस्टोरिकल एज का, किसी प्रॉपर एरा का पूरा डिपिक्शन किया जाता है. सो उसमें क्या होता है, लाइक द अदर डे आई वाज वाचिंग दिस मूवी, मैं अटल हूँ. उसमें क्या बताया गया है कि पुराने समय में, उस समय में कैसे लोग बात करते थे, क्या ड्रेसअप होता था, व्हाट वुड बी द सिनेरियो अराउंड, व्हाट वुड बी द वे ऑफ देयर टॉकिंग, एज आई सेड, द वे ऑफ देयर ड्रेसिंग. So अभी के टाइम में it looks anachronism. It is an anachronism, means it doesn't fall into the contemporary world. It looks a little different, पुराने समय का. So it can be related to that previous time. It can be related to the time which is going to come now. For example, science fiction movies जो होते हैं आपके, they take you somewhere beyond time. some centuries ahead वो ले जाते हैं. So it becomes a fantastic journey. Of course, it is based on imagination. Next comes synchronize. Now, sync. Sync is to bring together. You might have heard of watches being synchronized. ठीक है? Sometimes there is an exam, there is a competitive exam in an institution, and all the wall clocks, all the watches are synchronized so that every student gets the same time. The starting of the paper, the ending of the paper, the duration is uniform for everyone. So उसको कहते हैं synchronize करना. Sometimes you have seen कि कई institutes में जो computer systems होते हैं वो synchronize किए जाते हैं. So to cause two events to happen together. Or anachronism, please correct the spelling. It means an incident not belonging to the contemporary time. The meaning of contemporary is current. Next is chronometer. Now, chronometer means some device which measures time. Meter has come from the root, the prefix, the suffix metron. Okay. Chronometer is a device measuring time, and it is very accurate, and it is generally used in the seas for navigation purpose because it gives very accurate time, and of course it is very costly. So you have all these words which come from chronos meaning time. So out of time होगा आपका anachronism या anachronistic. और अगर place की regarding बात करें, out of place क्या होगा, वो होगा incongruous. Incongruous is out of place. Not fit for a particular occasion. If you think of some more words, आपके दिमाग में कुछ और words आते हैं, do put down your words in the comment box. Next, we'll move ahead. Check the spelling. The spelling is important, dear students. The pronunciation is equally important. Always remember, recite, read, write down, speak, and most importantly, use them in sentences of your own. जब आप इन वर्ड्स को अपने sentences में फॉर्म करते हैं, उनका मीनिंग आपके सामने बिल्कुल पानी की तरह साफ हो जाता है. So always pronounce the words, always remember their spellings और उनको उच्चारित कीजिए, बोल करके देखिए. This is going to have a very good effect on your memory. आपको अलग से एफर्ट नहीं करना पड़ेगा इनको याद रखने के लिए. So let's move ahead. The next word, the next root which we are going to study today is pathos. Pathos means it can be a disease, it can be a suffering, and it can also be a feeling. When we had done the session on liars and lying, you had noted down this word pathological liar. Pathological means disease. उसका जो lying का habit है वो एक disease की हद तक पहुंच चुका है जिसका कोई क्योर नहीं है, right? So इसके कौन से words बन सकते हैं? Let us see. Pathology. Pathology आपने आमतौर पे देखा होगा pathological tests होते हैं, right? If I say that a person has gone to the hospital and he is asked, he is instructed to visit the pathology, मतलब उसकी कुछ जांचें होंगी, उसके कुछ टेस्ट होंगे. So pathology, logy has come from the root word logos, which means the study. So pathology means the study of diseases. Okay. Now, अब हम आते हैं इसी पैथोलॉजी से आपने डिराइव किया होगा वर्ड पैथोलॉजिकल, राइट? पैथोलॉजिकल. ओके. देन एज आई सेड, इस रूट का एक और मतलब है विच मीन्स फीलिंग. अब क्या आप फीलिंग से, इस बैकग्राउंड से कि इस रूट वर्ड का ये मीनिंग भी है, कुछ और वर्ड्स के बारे में सोच सकते हैं? लेट अस हैव अ लुक एट ऑल दीज वर्ड्स. ये देखिए, सिंपैथेटिक. सिंपैथी आपने सुना होगा, है ना? करुणा की भावना सबके लिए. सिंपैथी, सिंपैथी, टू हैव अ फीलिंग ऑफ काइंडनेस. जब आपको किसी के प्रति दया आती है, एट दैट टाइम यू बिकम सिंपैथेटिक. आप उनसे सहानुभूति रखने लगते हैं, उनकी तकलीफों से सहानुभूति रखने लगते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड सिंपैथी. ओके. देन पैथेटिक. Pathetic refers to a condition which is very bad, deteriorated, undesirable. Pathetic condition. The room lay in a pathetic condition. Room बहुत ही खराब condition में था, तो pathetic means of a very deteriorated kind. Then comes antipathy. Anti, anti means against. If I say that person A has antipathy towards person B, that means, do they have any love lost? Do they have any good feelings of happiness, of togetherness, of friendliness? No, they are antipathetic, or antipathic means related to hostility or enmity, animosity, दुश्मनी जिसको कहते हैं. So antipathy is opposite of friendliness, also opposite of sympathy. Then comes टेलीपैथी. टेलीपैथी, टेली का मतलब होता है डिस्टेंस. टेली मीन्स डिस्टेंस. आपने टेलीविजन के बारे में तो सुना है, टेलीफोन भी आप जानते हैं. सो टेलीपैथी, एक पर्सन एक जगह से दूसरे पर्सन से फीलिंग्स से बात कर सकता है. There is no need of a letter, there is no need of an SMS, there is no need of an email. Remember, मुन्ना भाई MBBS, सुमन जी, क्या आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? क्या मेरे दिल की आवाज आपके दिल तक पहुंच रही है? This is called telepathy. You are able to have the communication from a long distance. Telepathy. If you can think of some other words related, you should note them down. लिखो भी और उनके sentences भी बनाइए, and also inform me if you find or if you face any kind of doubt. Now let's move ahead. Here I'll be taking you through some prefixes and suffixes which we have already discussed, and you may have noted, you may not have noted. So let's make a note of all these prefixes and suffixes. पहला है ana or a, which means the absence or opposite. Absence of or opposite of. Now eyes, IZE, sympathize. Sympathy से बना sympathize. This is the suffix which makes it a verb. ये इसको verb बनाता है. Sympathize. ठीक है? Then comes your con, which means with or together. जैसे एक रूट वर्ड, एक आपने वर्ड पढ़ा था पिछले सेशन में, congenital. Congenital. Congenital means happening from the birth. In. In is into. Then logos. Logos means study. Metron. is measurement. जैसे अभी हमने पढ़ा क्रोनोमीटर, हाइग्रोमीटर, बैरोमीटर. This refers to measurement. Syn and sim is the other spelling of syn. SYN. Synchronize पढ़ा था अभी हमने. Then sympathetic. Sympathy, sympathetic, synchronize, synchronization means together. Then comes anti. Anti means opposite or like an enemy, like hostile, like animosity, जिसको मैंने बताया था अभी आपको दुश्मनी. N और M ये होते हैं verb prefixes. जैसे empower, empower, या जैसे encourage. I'll write the example here. Then comes tele. Tele means distance. So you will have seen that with these prefixes and suffixes, you can make many more words. So moving ahead, now let us take up some exercises to see whether we have understood whatever we have learned so far. And I want you to be completely attentive and go on marking the answers alongside of me. The first one, this is match the column, chronicity. Chronicity is the noun form of chronic, occurring again and again. Let us find out its answer. Chronicity. C. Condition of continual or repeated recurrence. Things which keep on happening again and again. Chronicity. Condition of continual or repeated recurrence. Next, anachronism. Anachronism. Ana is opposite and chronism is related to time. So something which is not happening, which is not belonging to the particular time. Something or someone out of time. Anachronism, something or someone out of time. Incongruity. Remember out of place, incongruity. Something or state of being out of place. Incongruous. Incongruity, the noun form is incongruity. Chronology. Calendar of events in order of occurrence. Chronology. Just the way the events occur as per the passage of time. Chronological order. Chronometer, a device for measuring time. Timepiece, device that measures time very accurately. Chronometry, measurement of time. Synchronization, sync, synchronization. Act of occurring or of causing to occur at the same time. Synchronization, act of occurring or of causing to occur at the same time. Pathology, study of diseases or disease. Pathology, study of disease. Sympathy, a sharing or understanding of another's feeling. Sympathy, sympathy, a sharing or understanding of others' feeling. Being sensitive. Telepathy, yes, which one is left? Communication from a distance. Telepathy. I hope you have understood the words and how they have been matched. Further definitions have been given. These facilitate understanding. जितनी आप एक्सरसाइज करेंगे उतनी ही आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग स्ट्रांग होगी. सो एक्सरसाइज से कभी डरना नहीं. Exercises is what makes you polished. जितना आपने सीखा है, whatever you have learned, it gives you a chance to test yourself and come back to the answer. There's no harm. सीखने में सब गलतियां करते हैं. But then the point is that we learn and we come to the proper answer. So let's take up another exercise. Now we have some more match the words, match the column words. Let us read. I would give you 1 minute to go through all these words and then I'll come back to this. Okay, first one, pathologist. Pathologist is the person who is the expert. Is shows the noun which shows the expertise. The person who is very knowledgeable in a particular field. So, pathologist is one who examines tissue to diagnose disease. Which tissue is this? This is related to cells, organisms. Cells make tissues. So answer D. Pathologist is the one who examines tissue to find out, to diagnose disease. Next is antipathy. This is opposite of empathy or sympathy, a negative kind of a feeling. So antipathy is a hostility or strong dislike. Strong dislike. Next, apathy. Now mark this word. Apathy is neither sympathy nor antipathy. It is having no botheration, completely indifferent to the feelings of others. That is called apathy. So look at the answer, find out where is the feeling. Lack of feeling, non-responsiveness, H. So please understand antipathy and apathy. There's a difference between the two. You might have heard of student apathy. You might have heard of voter apathy. When they are not bothered, they don't want to go and cast their votes. That is called voter apathy. Next is empathy. Empathy you will be able to do. Share another's feelings so strongly as to experience those feelings oneself. This is empathy. You have heard of sympathy, you have done sympathy, but empathy is a feeling higher. Sympathy is just to have the understanding of the feeling, the suffering which the other person is undergoing. But empathy is actually feeling that suffering yourself, as though you yourself are suffering. That is called empathy. Empathy is of a higher order, even higher than sympathy. Next is synchronize. Synchronize. Yes, come on, where is the answer? Happen or cause to happen at the same time or rate. Happen or cause to happen at the same time. Then comes empathize. Now, this is the verb form of empathy. Empathize. Now, what can be done is this empathize would be better suited to this one. Share another's feeling because this is a verb form. And what we can do is this one. Empathy can be noun form. Identification. Empathy can be this one. Identification with another's feelings. And empathize, the sixth one could be share another's feelings so strongly as to experience those feelings oneself. Now, this is the difference between verb and noun. As a language enthusiast, as the lovers of language, we must also be able to find out the slight differences, the nuances of language. Where is the verb? Which will be the adjective? What will be the verb like? And what about the adverb? So these all differences should be clear cut, understood by us. Coming to the next word, anachronous. Anachronous is out of time. Then incongruous. Incongruous is out of place. Synchronous, occurring at the same time or rate. Pathetic, suffering, arousing sympathy or pity. Telepathic, related to extrasensory perception. Beyond the senses, you're not able to see, you're not able to talk, you're not able to hear, but you are able to relate, you are able to communicate. That is telepathy from a distance. Coming to the next round of words. Next question, let us make our understanding even more polished and fine through this exercise. So these are yes no questions. Let us see if we have got any idea how to do these. Do you understand the words? Are these dates in chronological order? 1492, 1941, 1586. Are they in chronological order? No. Look at the dates 14, 19, and then 15. They are not in chronological order. Next, is pathology the study of healthy tissue? Healthy tissue? No, it has to be diseased tissue. The tissue is not healthy. Then only we have to examine it. Then, is telepathic communication carried on by telephone? Not at all. Humorous, isn't it? It is not carried on by any telephone or any means of communication. It is purely based on our feelings. Next, does a sympathetic response show an understanding of another's feelings? Yes, truly. It shows that yes, we are sympathetic, we understand how the other person might be feeling or might be going through, what the other person might be going through. Is one antipathetic to things, ideas, or people one finds agreeable? Now see here the contrast, agreeable and antipathic. Is it possible? It is not possible. He finds all these things disagreeable. That is why it is called antipathetic. So the answer is no. Some more questions in this series. Do apathetic people react strongly? Apathetic, not antipathetic. Apathetic people will not react strongly because they are not bothered. They are totally indifferent. उन्हें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ठीक है? So this answer will be no. Does an empathic, now empathetic translates to empathic. So this spelling is also correct. Does an empathic response show identification with the feeling of another? Feeling, identification. मैं समझता हूँ, मैं जानता हूँ, right? So it is yes. It shows the identification. मैं समझता हूँ, मैं पहचानता हूँ, आपके मन में कोई तकलीफ है. This is the meaning. Next, is a swimsuit incongruous attire at a formal ceremony? Imagine there is a formal ceremony going on and somebody comes there dressed up in a swimsuit. It is definitely incongruous. It is definitely out of place. So it is, of course, incongruous. Just as anachronism is out of time, incongruous is out of place. I hope you remember. Next, is an anachronistic attitude up to date? Up to date? Is it updated? No, it is not. Anachronistic maybe in the past or maybe in somewhere in the future, but certainly not up to date. So the answer is no. Next, are synchronous movements out of time with one another? Synchronous movements are not out of time, they happen together. For example, if you make your limbs, your arms and your feet move together at the same time. For example, in swimming, it is, of course, synchronous. So they are not out of time. I hope these exercises are clear. Otherwise, you may once again go through these. In case of any trouble, in case of any doubt, do get back to us. Now let's move further in this video. Now, the other two words which we have to take up today are CN and egregious. So CN means to know. Knowing. CN is knowing. So you have knowledge. Okay. You have science. From CN comes science. This is systematic knowledge of things. Conscience, the knowledge. Which knowledge is this? Of the mind. Remember unconscionable, we had done the liar in the first session. So in that sequence only, we are doing some more words. So conscience is related to the what? It is the voice of the heart. विवेक, अंतरात्मा की आवाज, आपका विवेक कभी भी आपको धोखा नहीं देगा. द फर्स्ट वॉइस विच कम्स आउट ऑफ योर माइंड, ऑफ योर हार्ट इज योर कॉन्शियस. प्लीज लुक एट द प्रोनाउंसिएशन, इट इज कॉल्ड कॉन्शियस. कॉन्शियस आप लिख सकते हैं अंतरात्मा की आवाज या स्व-विवेक. नेक्स्ट इज कॉन्शियस. Now, conscious has a little different meaning. The spelling is different and the pronunciation is also different. It means to be aware of something. Everywhere the root word is CM. To be conscious of, matlab to be aware of something. Yes. I am conscious of my lack of knowledge. Can be a very humble statement, right? Next, unconscionable. This was the word which we had done in the video on liars and lying. Unconscionable, the one which has no conscience. कोई उसकी अंतरात्मा नहीं है, किसी का नुकसान होता है, होने दो, right? So this is unconscionable. Un is the negative form and unconscionable means who has no conscience. Which category would you put such a person into? Is this person fit to be called a good human being or let alone a human being? I really doubt. Next, egregious. Now, the root word is grex or gregis, which means group or a herd, H-E-R-D herd, not H-E-A-R-D herd or flock. Flock of animals, herd of animals, group of animals, या group of people, any group, okay? So, gregarious. Remember, we had done this, the most severe, or you can say high in intensity kind of liar, that is egregious. Now, A, what is A? Is the prefix which shows out of. And Greg, look at this Greg. Greg is herd or flock. That means a lie or a liar is so bad that it is outstanding. It is totally away from the rest of the group. So egregious is something, very, very deplorable. Such a liar is called egregious liar. It is the severe most in the category of liars. Please go back and check my previous video on the liars and lying. You will get this in detail. Next, as we have understood, we have outlined, we have underlined that Greg is a meaning or it is indicative of a group. So gregarious means forming a group. Human beings are gregarious by nature. There are certain animals also who always live in a group. For example, elephants. Elephants remain in a group, but not a lion. A lion is not a gregarious animal, dear students, but a human being is a social animal who loves gregariousness. He wants to talk to others, he wants to mingle with others, he wants to interact with others. Gregarious. See how we have taken away E, and here with the help of Greg, we have made this word gregarious. Now comes congregate. Con is to bring together, together. Congregate. You must have heard of congregation. Congregation means an assembly of people where the people have assembled together. So a new word is congregation. And say. Say means apart from. Say means away from or apart from. So segregate. Segregate is to दूर करना, उसमें से निकालना, छांटना, अलग अलग करना. I told you say means apart from. So segregate मतलब दूर दूर करना, अलग अलग करना. To put in different categories. Segregate. Now, if you can recall, some weeks back, we had done a session on personality types. Therein, we had taken up extroverts, introverts, ambiverts. egotistic, if you can recall. So we have done this word extrovert. Extrovert means that personality type who the people who want to interact with others, who love laughter, who love enjoyment, who love to bond with others, who love to enjoy life, who want to be in the society. They are extroverts. So this gregarious and extrovert, they go together. They are synonymous words. See how with this root word you are able to relate to a previously learned word. That is the beauty of vocabulary, dear students. Next, let us take up some prefixes and suffixes. Of course, we have done these already. Now we will just go through them once. CO is nothing but CN only, which means the knowledge of, from where we have got the word science also, knowledge of, or to know, or knowing. Actually, they come from different root words. One is from Latin and the other is from some other language. So we have these two root words which mean the same thing we have already discussed in the previous slide. Then omnis. Omnis means all. So you must have heard of omniscient or omniscient God, omniscient or omniscience God. It is said that we human beings are mortals. We are full of imperfections, but it is only the Almighty God which is perfect. Because He is omniscient, means He has all the knowledge, He is omnipresent, He is present everywhere, and He is omnipotent, means He is all powerful. So the mighty God, omniscient. Omni means all. Omni is a root word which means all. Then comes your pre. Pre means before. Pre is a prefix which means before. You have the word prescient. The person who has the knowledge beforehand, who can foresee, जिसको पहले से ही दिख रहा है सब, दृष्टा, जिसको दिख रहा है कि पहले से ही कि आगे क्या होने वाला है, जिसके पास पहले से ही नॉलेज है, दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रिसिएंट. सो रूट वर्ड क्या है? सिएंट मतलब टू नो या नोइंग, और प्रिसिएंट मतलब पहले से ही. नेक्स्ट है मी. Me is also a prefix. Say, apart from, or to set apart. Ian is the noun suffix. Then come E or X, means away from. जैसे हमने अभी किया था egregious, मतलब away from the group. So outstandingly bad that it is kept away from the group, from the rest of the flock, from the rest of the herd. Then ness. Ness is again a suffix which tells you a noun, which denotes a noun. जैसे gregariousness. The adjective was gregarious and the noun which will be formed is gregariousness. Then add or egg. There's another word all the students are aware of, that is aggregate. Aggregate marks. Egg is towards or add is towards. Towards the group, towards the entire group of marks. Un is a prefix showing opposite. Unconventional, unegoistic. You can go on making the list of words with the help of some of these prefixes and suffixes. It's a beautiful technique of learning words. Now let us check our knowledge. Let us have an idea how much we have learned, how much we have understood. I'll just step aside for a minute and you have a look. Okay. Does a prescient means one which is known beforehand. Does a prescient fear indicate some knowledge of the future? Yes, it is about the knowledge of the future, prescient. Now, this brings us to the opposite, to the antonym of prescient, that is nescience. Ne is a word which shows opposite of. Okay, so nescience is an antonym of prescient. Is nescience a result of learning? No, it is rather the opposite of learning. A person who is ignorant. Nescience relates to ignorance. Totally opposite. Prescience, nescience. So the answer is no. Does glibness make someone sound? Now, does glibness make someone sound sincere and trustworthy? This is one sentence, one question only. Please overlook this. Does glibness make sound somebody sincere and trustworthy? No. You remember, glib talker, the person who talks smoothly, who keeps on lying. ऐसा लगता है झूठ तो उसकी जुबान से टपक रहा है. He has ready answers. If you have seen the previous session, उसमें बहुत डिटेल में लिया है. So glibness does not make somebody sound trustworthy. अगर कोई glib talker है, automatically आपका उससे distrust होगा. You will not have trust. आपका भरोसा उस पर नहीं होगा. So the answer is no. Is egregiousness an admirable quality? Of course not. It is a very bad quality. It shouldn't be admired. Egregiousness is not an admirable quality. Next, do gregarious people enjoy parties? Now, gregarious are the ones, the people who want to love, who love to enjoy, who love to mingle, who love to talk, who love to discuss. So, yes, they enjoy पार्टीज, क्योंकि पार्टीज में क्या होता है, आपको सबसे मिलना होता है, आपको सबसे बातचीत करनी होती है, ठीक है. देन डू स्पेक्टेटर्स कॉन्ग्रीगेट एट स्पोर्ट्स इवेंट्स? कॉन्ग्रीगेट मीन्स टू कम टुगेदर, है ना. कॉन्ग्रीगेशन, कॉन्ग्रीगेट टू कम टुगेदर, तो वो जमा हो जाते हैं वहां पर. यस, स्पेक्टेटर्स आ जाते हैं. कितने लोग इंटरेस्ट रखते हैं मैचेस देखने के लिए? वहां पे तो बहुत भीड़ होती है, बट दे वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट ग्रुप, सो दे कॉन्ग्रीगेट एट स्पोर्ट्स इवेंट्स. उन्हें बड़ा मजा आता है ऐसे ओपन फील्ड में, स्पोर्ट्स इवेंट्स में. नेक्स्ट, डू वी ऑफन सेग्रीगेट हार्डन क्रिमिनल्स फ्रॉम द रेस्ट ऑफ द सोसाइटी? यस, सेग्रीगेट मतलब अपार्ट फ्रॉम, अवे करना, है ना, दूर करना. सो हम हार्डकोर क्रिमिनल्स को बाकी की सोसाइटी से दूर रखते हैं, एट अ डिस्टेंस. Is an aggregation, last one, is an aggregation of problems a whole mass of problems? Yes, aggregate, to bring together, egg, toward, है ना, bring toward each other. So it is a whole mass of problems. Aggregation. When you sum up, when you go on compiling, add on करते हैं, इसीलिए वहां AD भी add आया है और AG भी आया है. Next question. Now let us see ये words हमारी समझ में आ रहे हैं कि नहीं. I'll give you a minute to go through these words. Okay. Now unconscionability. Unconscionability, lack of conscience, lack of conscience. जिसका कोई स्वविवेक ही नहीं है, उसकी अंतरात्मा की आवाज को उसने दबा दिया है. That is unconscionability. Then omniscience. Omniscience means all knowledge. All knowledge. Omniscience, infinite knowledge, है ना, all knowledge. Prescience, pre पहले, beforehand, fore knowledge, पहले से. Fore, forefront, forerunner, before. Then nescience, lack of knowledge. Nescience is ignorance, lack of knowledge, nescience. Then glibness, suspiciously smooth fluency. Suspicious हो जाते हैं आप ऐसे पर्सन को देख के, क्योंकि वो बहुत फास्ट बोलता है और बहुत मीठा बोलता है. मैंने आपको वर्ड बताया था, शहद की चाशनी में पिरो के वर्ड्स बोलता है. रिमेंबर दैट. नेक्स्ट, egregiousness, outstanding badness or viciousness. Vicious is coming from this word vice. Vice से आता है vicious, very, very bad, deplorable, बहुत बुरा. Next is gregariousness. Gregariousness, friendliness, enjoyment of mixing with people. The person who is gregarious, he wants to be friendly, he wants to mingle with people. He doesn't want to stay aloof like introverts. Next, congregation. Congregation, religious group or amassing together. Generally, they are together, they come together for some religious purpose. So that is called congregation. Segregation, away from others, segregate. Exclusion from the herd, a setting apart, दूर कर देना, ग्रुप में से अलग कर देना, segregate कर देना या निकाल देना. Then aggregate, total, mass or whole. This is the noun form. Aggregate, which means total or mass or whole. Some more questions are coming up. Just a few questions. Now, are we able to recognize? We have to pick the correct answer. Let us do them quickly. Let us have a rapid fire round of something like highly skilled, consummate, inveterate, notorious. Highly skilled is consummate. These were also some of the liars which we had done in the previous session, if you remember. So, consummate, liar, inveterate, and notorious. If you have not seen that, go again and watch that session. Beyond reform, inveterate, incorrigible, glib, incorrigible, which cannot be checked, beyond reform, which cannot be corrected. Dating from birth, right from the birth, congenital, congenital, right from the birth. Outstandingly bad, very bad, egregious. Science of heredity, genetics. Next, out of time, anachronous. Study of disease, pathology. Next, fond of company, friends, group activities, etc. Gregarious. Next, indifferent. The one who is not bothered. Apathetic. किसी की परवाह नहीं है. Long accustomed in habit, inveterate. Long accustomed. Remember the root word vetus किया था? Means old. So long accustomed. Next, study of family ancestry, genealogy. Study. Logy comes from logos, which means a study. So family, genes, gene, gene. Genetics, genesis. To complete, finish, or top off is consummate. Top off, a consummate artist. Last two questions. Accurate timepiece, the one from which you can measure the time. Chronometer, identification with the feelings of another person. You can identify with the feelings of another. Sympathy. That's all for today, and we will be coming up with some more sessions. Do stay connected. Do share these videos among the student community, among all the vocabulary lovers, so that they are able to judge themselves, they are able to improve themselves. And if you have any doubt, I repeatedly keep on asking you, do get back to us. Drop down your comments if there are any questions. And how did you find this? Do let us know. If you want some more content to be published, that also we'll be eagerly doing that for all of you. So stay connected. God bless you. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.